We'll start now. First of all, thank you so much. Good afternoon to all of you, and thank you so much for the opportunity to do this webinar. And thank you also for the opportunity to join for this webinar, and you took time to join this. If you remember exactly on the same day, that's about April 10th, 3 months back, we did this workshop on sales excellence in marks. And post which, about 45 days back, we also interacted with some of you on the post-workshop implementation support. And there some of you expressed that one of the concerns that you have is to handle the price because it's competing too much. And then if that's why this webinar is planned to do this. What I want to do in the next 45 minutes is to talk about the effective rules for pricing conversation, especially in B2B selling. In this 45 minutes, during this 45 minutes, we'll also ask you some short questions, and you can respond to that on the chat. And then at the end of the session, we'll definitely have question and answer session to do that. I'm sure whenever you give the price part of it, I'm talking about you have understood the need, you have sent the kind of understanding note, and then you have made the handle the objections and you have put the price. Lot of customers, the common expression of any customer whom you handle after they hear the prices, it's very expensive, it's costly. We never thought it's going to be costing so much. Other products are much cheaper. And how much discount you can give. And they also say you're higher than the other products, similar products. And common one which they say is we don't have a budget, or they would say we can't afford, and match the price and take the order. And one of the most difficult thing to all of us is that there is no reaction and they are quiet after hearing the price. I'm sure you would agree with me on these things, and I'm sure you would have had a similar expression like this whenever you and discussion on this. Now, what I intend to do in the next 45 minutes will help you to give you confidence to handle the price objection. And you'll also be equipped with some skill and knowledge which will develop your competence also on price handling. One, definitely, once the confidence increases and your competence increases, obviously your sales conversion will also increase on this. This session has got basically 4 parts. The first part is about understanding and believing in your own pricing. We did cover this part in our previous program also, but we will re-emphasize on this. And then we will also talk about the next one, understanding of the nature of the price objection. This is the very critical part, because once you understand the nature of the objection, you will be able to handle this in a more confident way. And the third part is about what are some guidelines to respond to these kind of price objection. This we will give you some skills, some tools, how to handle these objection. And at the end of it, we'll also discuss about how do you develop some few price disciplines when you handle the price in the coming days. As I said, this has got 4 parts. The first one is about understanding and believing in your own pricing. The second part is about understanding what type of price objection is there. And the third one is guidelines to handle this objection. And the fourth part is about developing few disciplines. We'll go slowly. As we are interacting in between, we'll ask you some short questions. But the first one is about understanding and believing in your price. I always say if you look at what are the components that make up your product or make up your pricing, will involve many things: payment conditions, technical support, delivery conditions, service, the cost of sales engineer, pre-sales team, service team. There is a brand name which is involved, a variable cost which is there, and the fixed cost which is there, and research and development that your organization along with your principals are doing. And there is a product cost, there is a solutioning cost, and of course, all these put together, what you call it as price. You would agree with me whenever we say price is just one part of the offer. When I say one part, price is one part, it would involve your know-how. That means that Marx has been in the in India for such a long time. You have your own knowledge, expertise, everything. And the image of the brands that you sell has got some image. The way you deliver the entire solution itself is different. And what are the terms and conditions, services, resources, everything which is involved. So price is just one part of the offer. Once you believe that what you have done is a pricing is the right, then your ability to handle will improve. One of the things that you must realize is that how your company is positioning these products in the market. Is it a premium product that you are positioning? Or is your product is positioned as an essential product, and is your product positioned as a very convenience product? Depending upon how the product is positioned, your pricing will also be done accordingly. I want you to one more thing, want you to get convinced about yourself. What is the nature of the market that you are operating? If it is extremely competitive market, then the pricing will also be in that range. And also, based on the product that you offer, the organization will also have this product pricing in different ways. For a standard product, there is a different price. Customized product, there is a different price. Solutioning product, there is a different price. So, first one is I want you to believe that what you are given a price is the right price. Based on various factors, once you believe, you'll be able to go with the confidence to talk to the customer. I want you to ask yourself three questions before you discuss about anybody at price. How is your product or a solution is helping them to either reduce the cost or increase the revenue? The second critical question that I want you to ask is how does your solution help them to increase their customer satisfaction or in their strategic outlook what they are doing? The third question which you have to ask yourself is how do you help them to reduce their effort in doing something or improving the efficiency there? If you get answers for these three, then your confidence to go and talk about the price itself will help there. Now, I'm talking about what we discussed on the first part is about the belief in your pricing. In fact, if you look at some of your RFID printers or something, you always talk about faster label throughput, and you're also talking about it will help you to identify good and bad labels. These are what you're talking about, either reducing the effort or improving the efficiency of them. So, as we discussed in this part, the first one is price is just one part of the offer. Second one, I want you to believe in your own pricing and understand how the positioning is done in your company based on the market, product, and the premium. And the third thing which I want you to remember is to ask these critical questions. Is it going to improve reduce the cost or improve the revenue? Is it going to improve the customer satisfaction? Or how this effort or reduce their effort or improve the efficiency part of it? Now, once you believe on this, Whatever it is there, I'm sure when you second part is about presenting, also how do you present? Uh, Please remember to present any of your product as an investment and not as an expense. Customer might say something, this is only expense, but you position this as an investment for next 2 years, next 3 years, next 5 years. That's where you can do. And I'm sure we discussed on this. How do you present the price is on two methods, which we believe one is the sandwich method. One is sandwich method is about one benefit, one price, and benefit. Say for example, one benefit that you get with our printer is it will help you to identify both the good and bad labels with just an investment of about 25,000 rupees. You will also be able to find out that it gives you a faster label throughput and it offers flexibility in the way you operate with this. This is how you can make a presentation of the product. Price. And also, there are different methods. One, you can talk about the long term value of the prior product. These are ways which we can take. At this moment, if you have any questions, just put it on a chat box or a thought. Okay, we take a break for 1 minute and understand any concerns, any questions that you have at this stage at the end of part one. Yeah. 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 I understand that Prashant has put a question that if the same product has the available with the same benefit and how much lesser price then? I will definitely, I will definitely answer this in my second or a third part of this. Okay, definitely I will answer Prashant on this. Let's continue on this. Now, one is I want you to believe about your product. Definitely, the second one, which I want you to do, is understand the nature of the price objection. Now, what I mean by this is whenever a customer says expensive, costly, compared to others, what is this? I think you can classify or you can come to the objection. What do you mean by expensive is something that we need to understand from the customer. There are four type of objection that the customer make about. One, due to the value he perceives that he might think it's expensive. The second one is based on the competition or a similar product, as Prashant said, if the same product is available when he is comparing with somebody, how does this justify? And the third thing is due to some financial position that the customer had thought for such kind of problem, there must be some budget. And that's how he would have said. And the fourth one is it's just a tactic by the customer to get the best bargain from you. So, first is this is a very critical moment. What I request you is whenever the customer says it is high, I want you to do one simple step. Just ask the customer, what do you mean by that? When you ask this question, pause for a few seconds rephrase the objection, and then you can also ask one thing saying that, if I understand you correctly, what do you mean by this, sir? The first step is clarify. Clarify by asking, what do you mean by expensive? Sir, you said it's expensive, could you elaborate? But I feel this one statement has worked wonderful. Okay. Nilesh has got a question that I will definitely answer. But first one is to ask him, what do you mean by that? Now, when the answer comes to him, come from him, I want you to classify this objection as what kind of objection is this? Is this objection coming because he has not perceived the value of your product? Or is this objection coming because he has compared with somebody else? Or is this objection coming because he had thought for such product this could be his budget that he had fixed? In many of the organizations, they fix the budget and then they work on that. Or the fourth one is it a tactic by the customer to push you down and say this is what is there? So understand the objection and classify first. This is very critical. First one is clarify. What do you mean by that? And based on the objection which the customer says, you can classify. For example, if customer says, I don't think it's worth so much, then it is a value-based objection. Compared to others, you are expensive, then he is comparing with something. Third one is, we never thought, we had a budget of this, but we never thought it is going to be like this. Then he is talking about a budget. And the fourth one is, he says, you forget about whatever it is there, but you tell me what is this. Or he is saying, generally, I want you to tell me how much discount you can give. It's a tactic to understand if the salesperson has got something out of this. As I said, first one is clarify, second one is classify. Once you classify, now you need to decide. One criteria that I want you to consider, most of the decision the customer does is based on the urgency for the buyer to buy this product. You ask yourself a question, what is the urgency for this buyer to buy this product? And what are the consequences of giving a long-term discount? And if at all, if you give discount, what we can get in return? Now you decide on this. What is the answer that I should give it to him? Decide on this and respond in different way. We'll come to how to respond. As I said, the first one is clarify, classify, decide. And the fourth step that I want you to do is I want you to respond. When you respond, if it is a budget, then you might give some options and educate more about your pricing, how you have done. If it is a value objection, reiterate the core value. And if it is a competition, show him the unique differences. And if it is a tactic, I definitely tell you, please recognize this as a tactic and it is no longer a tactic, so you can respond very confidently to him. Now, how to handle these four, I will definitely tell you. But as I said, the first one is understanding the need. Second one is nature of objection, where we talked about clarify, classify, okay, decide, and respond. Before we go to the next stage, I want to take a 1 minute break, and I want to know how many of you do this kind of things, or what is your reaction of handling, classifying, understanding the nature of the objection like this. Can I request some of you to put your thoughts on this? What do you think about this way of understanding the nature of objections? Nilesh question, generally we talk negotiation part with the purchase guy. So how does the benefits of the solution we convince him? Definitely, yeah. Okay, good one. One of the question which they ask is, Prashant says, how can we guess whether he is making a tactic to get discount? One best question is to ask, as I said, what do you mean? If he says based on the response which he gives, okay, you can make out. Okay, one of the objection these people will brush up and say, I don't think this is worth so much. Or they will ask you, tell me how much you discount your stock with. These kind of people, I would say it's only a tactic. We'll come back to this tactic part also later. But my first one is to ask these four questions: classify, clarify, classify, and decide and respond. Now the third part what we discussed is about guide to respond to price objection. Now, if it is a value-based objection, okay, if it is a value-based objection which somebody says it is not worth, I don't think this is what you're charging is too premium, all of these which they say. Please remember, price is what one is willing to pay in exchange of what value when he receives. When we say value, what we discussed in our previous session also, that one is the functional value and the second one is the emotional value that you get. And that's where we talk about price is what he is willing to pay. Now, when buyers don't pursue the value for your product or service that you're offering, then they consider price is expensive. If they don't think there is a functional value of this product, there is an emotional value of this product, then obviously the customer will say this is too high. Okay, that's how you can definitely say. But what is important for you to do? The moment when the value objection comes, there are a lot of ways where you can handle. One is to mention the savings of the long term. What do you mean by this, sir? When you take our printer, it will come for 3 years, it will come for 4 years, it will come for so long period. You can explain. You can explain the unique benefit that your product does. He might be having some thoughts in his mind. Okay, he might be having some thoughts in his mind, but then you can explain what is the additional benefit that you give. The third one is link the benefit to ultimate result. And the fourth one is explain about how this product is done. You can talk about the unique process. In fact, if you're doing a solutioning or something, you should talk about what is the unique process of your solution. What is the unique process? First, we understand your expectation. Second one is we study your industry or you study your layout plan. We first get you understanding you from the various stakeholder, then give you a trial part of it, then we get the approval, then we go into the commissioning stage, then we give a post work, post support. All these you can explain the unique process that it is involved in the time and the effort is involved. Highlight about the quality. I think whether it is Zebra, whether it is other products that you're doing, there is a quality. I think you must talk about highlight. As I said earlier, mention it as an investment. And you talk about the brand image and talk about 24 into 7 support, holistic support that you talk. Depending upon the customer, you can decide upon various things that you can do. In fact, when you say these things, I also would request you to say some of these things very powerfully to customer. Even with somebody who is buying, who is a purchase guy, I want you to tell him one thing that we are proud with our products is all products wherever we have installed, most of the customers have experienced that they are extremely happy with our product. And that is why you should be able to look at this as a value. And you can also use one more sentence. Our customer tell us that what products we have offered 10 years back, it's still functioning. That makes us happy. And that is what is the value which we give. And that's how you can talk about a value or a perception about this. And this is also good if you have testimonials with you saying that some customer who has given you earlier saying that the products have worked for such long time. So when you talk about this kind of things to customer, then you will be able to handle the value part of it. Okay, and that's what on the value part of it. Now the next one, if somebody talks about who compare with your competitor, I think the first one, we discussed this in our last time also. People don't buy best product. People buy products which they understand. This is the Indian consumer behavior. And whenever the customer says you are expensive, the first one is I want you to ask, what do you mean by that? If he says compared to others, I want you to say, what are you comparing with, sir? He might come out with three answers compared to X, or forget about whom I'm comparing, tell me what is that you offer. Or he might say, I won't be able to tell you at this stage. Then you can tell him, sir, you can keep the competitivity in your mind. I have no problem. But tell me, sir, how much is the difference we are talking about, sir? And let's say the customer says 20%, okay, or even if he says 30%, and you tell him very clearly whatever he expresses, exactly you say it in an expression 30% more, sir. And then you look at the body language of what he does. If he says, forget about what others offer, you tell me what do you offer. I don't think there is 30%. He must be trying to tell you fake it. But if he tells you exactly, I am giving you another company quote, I'm showing you this is the 30% difference from what you have quoted, then I want you to tell him very confidently to him, I agree that there is a difference. If there is no difference from Marx and the other company, I would be surprised. I agree there is a small difference of 10-15% what we are quoting as high. However, there is a huge difference that we bring in. Let me explain you the difference, what we bring it to your table. And when you talk about difference, talk about three difference. What your product can do, what your company can do, what you as a salesperson can do. This is the way you tell them the sentence very clearly. I absolutely agree, sir. There is a difference. If there is no difference, I would be surprised. How can you compare me with somebody else? This small difference, what we bring, is because of what we have got the reputation for last 10 years. Wherever we have installed, our products have been very good, and what we bring with our partners is a high quality product. Then you talk about what you bring as a marks. Okay, we are all technology guys. We put a lot of effort to see that the customer is becoming success. We partner with them, and there are customers who are partnered with them with us for 5 years, 10 years, and that's how use the unique 10 things to consider benefits there. And that's what Nilesh said when we talk the negotiation. This is how we can talk to them. Now, first one is on the value. Second one is on the customer who competes. Third one is there are customers who says, I don't have a budget. Look, I like your product. I like the solution. I like everything, but my company has decided for this kind of a product. Okay, this kind of a solution. Only the budget is this much. If they say budget, how do you respond to them? Look, when we say budget, there are three things. One is buyers who can't afford. That means that the general financial position of the customer is that he can't afford. The second one is buyers can afford but need a better pricing. What do they say? Customer financial position at the moment have some issues. So that's why he wants a better price. And the third thing is buyers can afford but constrained by his plan. He says, I can afford, but your product or product of this type, certain price range is what I was looking out for. Whatever it is there, but the first thing which I want you to do is you respond to customer like this four statement what I'm going to tell. I've written there, sir, we are working with many similar kind of companies like you are. Our solutions have a very high quality and serves a purpose. And that is why many companies invest a portion of their budget into our product and services. First of all, Does our product meet your needs now? What was the budget you had in your mind to solve this kind of a problem? What you had? And then, based on the answer he gives, you can respond to him. The second option which you can try is I understand things are tough all over. Let me ask you this. Where do you normally get where do you normally get a budget from when an unexpected need comes up to you? I know there is a problem, but if there is an unexpected need comes, how do you arrange it? Then he might say, no, no, we go back to management, we talk to them. I think can we go and discuss with the management to understand this? There is a third thing that you can do is that's perfectly okay. I don't expect you to even invest a naya paisa, even invest money on something which is not beneficial. Now, let me show you how we are going to justify the price on this. It saves money, it reduces cost, and then tell him, sir, for all these things, you're planning only this much budget. Can you increase the budget? And the fourth one is, Mr. Customer, if you like more, if you are like most of my clients right now, you're going to be extremely cautious regarding any money that you spend. So I totally understand. Let's not talk about budget until we determine if we are making any sense to you in our product or solution. Okay, and then you ask him a one qualifying question and say, first of all, does my solution, what I have offered, is in line with you or what? Yes, then now look at what are the various options I can give you. You can give one option is to extend a little price or extend one variable which you can give, which can justify something to you. This is about the budget part of it. Okay, so that's where somebody who asked a question on this, that's where I would respond. And the last one which we talk about, there are some bargain hunters. Okay, I think somebody asked me, how do we understand whether it is a tactic or not? And that's where I give you. There are some characteristics of bargain hunter. Okay, what is the meaning of characteristics of bargain hunter? These are specificity of some of these buyers. One is customer thinks that you must charge based on my earlier offering. You would have said 5 years back you would have bought something. He says you charge the same rate now. Second one is customer knows that the price you quote is correct, but will object to anything which you quote. It is his routine to say anything which you quote is expensive. Third one, customer want to pressure you in quoting a lower price and testing whether you can offer a lower price. See, we all have this habit wherever we go. We just ask him, okay, tell me how much, what is the last price? And we have seen our research says 75% of the people will reduce 5% and say this is the last price. Okay, but this is what you should be able to aware. And fourth one is customer don't want to buy just now, and they can't or won't offer a good reason, so he challenges your price. He is first of all not interested. You would have agreed with somebody, and then what he says is, okay, tell me, can you give me at this price? You can't give. He also knows you can't give. So it's a trying to test you. It's a tactic. There are people who don't want to buy. I always say it's important to talk to a person who actually made this request. There are people who are called as court collector. If you talk to court collector, he has no authority to buy. So that's why you get into trouble like this. And the sixth one is customer does not want to buy, but does not want to tell you what is the true reason. So that's why he says some kind of objection and say, can you give me at 50% rate? How can you give? Who has got authority to give? And the seventh one is customer needs your product, realizes that you know it and suspects that you will exploit the situation. That is why he's trying to test you, trying to test the waters there. These are some characteristics that of a buyer. So I always say, if you are in a bargaining state where the negotiation is done, I have used this principle. It worked wonderfully. Always try to reduce by 0.5%, 0.25%, or something like 3.25%, 1.75%. This is the best method to give. Next time, if you are giving a 10%, if your boss, 5%, if your boss has given reduction, my request is tell him in the covering note, you tell him, sir, as a special case, we would offer 4.25% discount. Now that means that the customer is aware that you also are difficult to give you any money. And I always say, give in slowly. Do not agree immediately. I'm sure if somebody asks you what is the printer and you say 10,000, can you give 18,000? If you say yes, then he'll ask you for 16,000. So give in slowly and do not agree immediately on this. Make the buyer fight for concession. This will happen only when you have sold the value of your product. And remember, give always a room for some negotiation. If you have 10%, give only 6%, give only 7%, keep the 2%. You don't know when it will come. Don't have to give tit for tat. What it means, he says, na aapka na mera, sir, let's close at this rate. I don't think you should agree. Beware of the deadline tactic. It is only deadline is to get your best quote and show it to competitor and tell him that this is what has happened there. And don't be the first one to concede on major issues. And in bargaining, it is not about how you give that's important. It is also how you give that is important. And ultimately, in all kind of discussion on price negotiation, please tell him, look, sir, I'm interested in giving you a product where we can start a partnership with you, where we are giving you a product which can work with you for a long time. We would like to partner with us. Please tell us how we can associate with you. I have given my best, you have given your best, then ultimately we both have to move forward. Let's see how you do it. That's a negotiation stage we'll cover somewhere later. But show him that you're keen to partner with him and see how you can work out there. This is about the four ways of handling objection. As I said, one is a value objection. Second one is about the competition. Third one is about somebody who is talking about budget, and the fourth one is about how do you handle somebody who bargains there and how do you recognize. Ultimately, all of us, every company works for profit. We must realize one thing. It is important to develop some few discipline in developing a price. Giving a price. What are we talking? Please remember, price drives profitability. I am sorry, actually, it should have been 10%. 1% better price is equal to 10% better profit. All that, whatever we did this 1 hour, if you are able to get 1% better price, that will directly go to the profit of your company. If you are doing 1 crore, if you are able to get 1% better price, that will become 1 crore, and that 1 lakh rupees will directly go to profit. My request is, whenever you give any discount, be so stringent that you think that your money is going out of your pocket, and that's how you should be able to do that. And second one, please remember, whatever said and done, everywhere people say acha wala sasta wala, but I will tell you one thing, please remember, in absence of all indicator, price becomes the number one indicator of quality. Higher price means higher quality. Low price product evokes a cheapness. So that you must be aware that whatever you're providing a product is a high quality product, and when you quote high, it is high. Also, please remember, this is my price discipline. Price of your product gives an indication to buyer what you feel about your company, your product, and the services that you offer, what you believe it is worth. And that is why you should be proud to say, my product is worth so much. I am worth so much. My company is worth so much. And that's how you should be. And my last one to say, I would say, develop a discipline, courage, and willingness to know when to walk away when you have done all these things. You can walk away in only 3 situations. One, if you have a monopoly product, or second one is your pipeline is full, and the third one is, even if he says no, it doesn't make much difference to you. But if you have to do that, your pipeline has to be full. So please keep building up the pipeline, then you will be able to do this. So what we covered in this webinar is on the four part. That is about, first one is about believing in your price. Second one is understand the nature of objection. And the third one is about guidelines for handling those objections. And the fourth one is developing a discipline in giving discount. With little delay in time, we have completed about 50 minutes. So we'll have some question and answer session at the moment. First one, I would be very happy if you could, all of you could type how this overall 45-minute session to you. You can put one chat or one message, whatever it is there, and then we'll take a question and answer session. Okay. Yes, anybody can comment? Chandrasekhar says good. Prashant, very good. Yeah. Suraj, good, very good. Okay, any questions that you have? Any question and answer session? I mean, questions from your side? Sure. Nilesh, you will get that. Yeah. Oh, you need some screenshots. We'll send you the video. We have recorded this. We'll send you the video of this. Okay. What will be the challenge in implementing this? Okay, so I think there are no questions at the moment. What I will do is we'll send you the recording of this, we'll send you the template of this. Oh, good, very good, wonderful. Okay, Prashant says with given ideas we get more confidence. That was my objective. Yes, we'll do that. What we will do is we'll definitely send you the entire recording of this. But if you have any questions, any thoughts which is there, I would request you to definitely send your messages offline also. Okay, you have my email ID. Please send questions. We would be very, very happy to help you on this. Okay, so we will end. Thank you so much for your participation here. It was lovely talking to all of you after 45 days again. Thank you so much.